Hey guys, welcome to the Timber Forge. Today I'll be showing you how to build this cannon, which shoots any falling block, which is most useful with dripstones and anvils, and could basically like one or two shot a bunch of mobs. Before I show you how to build it, I first want to explain how exactly it works, but if you just want to see the tutorial, skip to this timestamp. So here's how it works. First, I place the dripstone right in front of the observer, and normally trapdoor is down. I place it and it flips because the observer detects the dripstone is placed, and then it powers a redstone and powers the trapdoor, and then the dripstone loses its support and falls into the water, and then it bobs up and down because of the soul sand, which creates the bubbles. Then on the backside, when you actually want to launch it, you hit the button and it turns on these redstone dust pieces, and it causes the TNT to dispense out of all 6 dispensers. And it also powers this piston, which pushes this redstone block into this line of repeaters. And then after the line of repeaters, it branches into 2 sections. So I'll just go here first. And it will climb up this vertical slab tower to turn on all of these water dispensers at the same time to flood this chamber full of water so that the bubble stream goes all the way to the top and the dripstones fly all the way out. And then after another short delay, it goes through this back section here. So as you can see, there's a few more repeaters for more delay. And it causes this sticky piston to push up this observer to turn this 4-tick pulse into a 0-tick pulse, which I then turn back into a 2-tick pulse. And that makes sure that this piston could push and retract the slime block, but I need to make sure the slime block retracts before the TNT explodes so that this doesn't get blown up. And then on the other side of the branch, it goes to a pulse extender, which is just 2 comparators. And then it goes to this redstone torch, which is hooked up to these this piston, which is holding onto the trapdoor. This makes sure that the trapdoor retracts as the dripstones are flying up so they don't get blocked. Because even if you just open the trapdoor, it could get caught on the edge. And then the last thing is there's a lamp here hooked up to an observer facing into this redstone. And that makes sure that after the delay is out here, which causes this piston to push the trapdoor back over again, then it will update this lamp twice, but the first time it won't actually do anything, but the second time when it turns back on again, it's going to send a secondary pulse into this wiring to reactivate this whole water tower, and then it will make it suck the water back up. So I'll show you that part right here. When this turns on, it's going to create another pulse. See, it flashed really quick there. That was to make sure that the water got sucked back up. So here are the materials you'll need to build this. So all of these ones are pretty self-explanatory, but then this one you'll need some kind of transparent non-stick. If you don't want to think about it, just use a pressure plate. And then there's also some glass, full blocks, slabs, and redstone dust. Alrighty, so let's get building. First, get an 8 by 5 block area and put a piece of soul sand on the inside of it, 4 blocks from the left and 4 blocks from the top. And that's going to be the center of our water tower. So then get glass and build up 2 blocks around it to form the first part of the tube, and use 5 dispensers to create the dispensing area for the water. Then build the tube all the way up until you're 2 blocks from the top. And once you're here, put a fence gate, and this is so you could click past to place the dripstones. And then get a non-stick and transparent block and put this in the back. Then build up the rest. So you should have a tube that looks like this. And actually you want to put an observer on this side, and you want the face to be facing the dispenser, because you want to make sure that when you place your dripstones that they get detected by the observer. Then place a full block in the back with 2 redstone dust, and then get a trapdoor and place it on the redstone above the hole. And also put a glass on the back. So it should be a fully sealed tube like this, so that when the water fills, it doesn't actually overflow. And if you place something here, the trapdoor should flip. Then take your water and place 2 blocks of water in the bottom and fill all of your dispensers full of water buckets. Now at this point in time, if you test it, you should be able to see that it drops the dripstones down into the water and they should be bobbing up and down. Now let's build the TNT dispensing section. So get your sticky piston, which will launch the TNT, and put it next to the pressure plate. Then put a slime block on top of it. And replace this back piece of glass with obsidian. And we're going to be putting more obsidian later to make sure this thing doesn't blow itself up. But for now, just leave that one piece there. And then take some blocks so that you can place a dispenser facing into the slime block. Then put 2 blocks next to that dispenser and put more dispensers for a total of 6 facing into the slime block just like this. Then place your 2 pieces of redstone dust and a button on the back. So now when you press this, it should activate all 6 of these dispensers. Now let's bring the signal down to start the rest of the redstone circuit and also activate the water tower. So put a sticky piston facing upside down right next to this redstone dust, and then place 4 slime blocks and a block of redstone, and place 5 repeaters and set them all to the maximum delay. This is to make sure that the timing of the circuit is correct. Then place a block here and 3 more full blocks with redstone dust. Then place some slabs. So start over here and make a vertical slab tower all the way to the top. And then over here you want to put some full blocks and fill this whole thing up with redstone dust, including the top of this dispenser and those full blocks. Now when you press it, you should notice that it floods the whole area with water. Now let's hook up the slime block launcher to the rest of the circuit. So place some full blocks, kind of like a C or U shape around the water tower, and place redstone dust and a redstone repeater at 4 ticks. Then another redstone dust and another repeater at 4 ticks. Then replace this glass block with a full block to make sure the signal could pass through. Then place another block here and put a redstone repeater on 2 ticks. Then place a block and a sticky piston facing upwards with an observer with the face facing the front or the target area, and you want the output to be facing back into the circuit where we are going to put a slab. It has to be a slab because you don't want the signal to go into the block. Then the redstone dust goes on top, and then replace this block with a full block to make sure the signal goes through. Then a redstone repeater here with 2 ticks, another full block, and redstone dust to power that piston. So now if I press the button, it should flood with water, and then a bit after that the piston will extend. Yep, so it works how we want. Now we have to make sure that we can pull this trapdoor out of the way, and also make sure to empty this out and reset the whole thing. So let's start that by making a pulse extender. So we want 6 blocks like this on the ground, and then 1 above and 1 in the corner there. Then we will fill it with redstone on the sides, a comparator facing into this block, and another comparator facing out. And this makes sure that the signal stays on for longer. Then we want a redstone torch on the back of the block that the comparator is pointing into with sandstone, and then place a redstone dust on top and it should light up. Then place 2 slabs there, and then climb up 1 block and place another slab, and climb up another block and place another slab. Then we want to connect this section up, and then we're going to connect it over to here. So we want to have 2 blocks right over here and have the redstone dust point into this block. And on this block we want to put our piston because this is going to retract when the pulse extender activates. So if I hit the button, you should notice that as soon as the water floods, the trapdoor is pulled back, and this allows the dripstones to fly up and then get launched out. So now we want to make sure that this empties out every time we shoot it, so that we don't have to manually do it every time. And to do that, all we have to do is add another redstone lamp under this full block, which by default should be lit up, and then have an observer facing into it with the output facing into this redstone line. So now if I do it, it should flood, but then after the pulse extender wears out, it will light this up again, which will send another pulse emptying out the channel of water. So the last thing you need to do is just to protect your machine so it doesn't get blown up by the TNT when it flies in the air. So the minimum you need is in this configuration, so basically covering all of the top blocks. Cover the redstone and also cover the button so that doesn't blow up. And this is the minimum that you need for it to not kill itself every time. But if you want to play it safe, you could just like add some more over here and create maybe like a second layer. Occasionally you'll get some random destruction such as this piece of redstone sometimes disappearing. So it's probably best to just cover it like with a full layer on top here. So now we could test to make sure that it works, and remember this will work with basically any falling blocks, so like anvils, dripstones, sand even. I mean, there's no point of doing sand, but it does work because it's a falling block. So I'll put some sand in here, some dripstones in here, some anvils. Just load a few and let's launch. As you can see, it launched all the dripstones, the sand, the anvils, and everything like that. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was very fun to make, and if you guys have other ideas for like random redstone contraptions like doors or weapons like this, then just leave them down in the comments below, because I do like mixing things up a bit between making data packs and making data pack tutorials and making redstone stuff. So if you guys have any suggestions for other things to make, then leave them down in the comments below.